And I was like, what is this about? What?
That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther. And she couldn't do it. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther. Hey, my name is Tristan and I'm in second grade and I asked my teacher to show me an experiment where water curves. She couldn't do it because it doesn't curve. The water always finds its level.
What'd your teacher do?
She just didn't talk to me anymore. All she did was walk away. And I was like, what is this about? What?
That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther. And she couldn't do it.
Rip this up for sound bites. This is awesome.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome back to Anti-Religious Scripture Study with me, Karen B, and of course, Just Jack Flat Earth.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Alrighty then. I'll just read my disclaimer and get into it. Just Jack's I hate when that happens. Just Jack's disclaimer. To the religious, if you believe it's wrong to study the scripture outside of your religion or denomination, if you believe your religious leaders or church fathers are incapable of having inherited anti-scriptural traditions of men, if you've already made up your mind about scripture, including the scripture shouldn't be studied at all, then the stream is not for you. To others, if you're open-minded to others' opinions, if you haven't made up your mind about scripture, If you've been turned off to religion but believe there's truth in Scripture that may have been changed or hidden by religion, if you live according to Scripture and like to dig in and discover more, then the stream is for you. We are looking at Scripture in the original language using concordances or dictionaries for root words, as well as context from a non-religion perspective. We will as well have life experience discussion. We are not here to argue with others about theology or doctrine by the traditions of men, including Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. We will be discussing the importance of origins and show how religions contradict the Scriptures. All right, there we go.
All right.
All right, so last week, just to recap, it was a pretty good chapter. That's basically like, clarifying that there's no special boys. If you do good things happen. If you do bad things happen. And the blessings and the curses both come from the Creator, not from an invisible bad guy fighting against the Creator.
Mhm.
So those were important points from last week, and we can get into this one as soon as you're ready.
All righty. I forgot to open mine. What are we on? 31?
31. That is correct. Yep, we only have 4 more chapters to go, and then we're done with the entire Torah. So
Yeah.
sweet.
Cool. And Moshe went and spoke these words to all Yisrael.
All right, and so this says word, but it I guess it would kind of sound weird, and
Word these words.
Moshe word the word, yeah, but it is what it is because a word is a a direction of order, and not just there is a Hebrew word for speak, but that is specifically word. But in this case, this actually is speak right here. So in the next verse, all right, go ahead.
And he said to them, I am 120 years old today. I am no longer able to go out and come in. And Yehovah has said to me, you do not pass over this Yarden.
Yeah, he's trying to say that, I'm getting old and whatnot, but that's not, it doesn't matter how old he's getting. he was already told he's not crossing over the Yarden.
Right.
All right.
Yehovah your Elohim himself is passing over before you. He shall destroy these nations from before you, and you possess them. Yehoshua himself is passing over before you, as Yehovah has spoken.
Okay, so Yehoshua is translated from Joshua, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the same name as the New Testament, the one they call Jesus.
Yeah.
It's the exact same name. So, that's quite interesting. The other thing is that, if you are connected to Yah, your battles are already won. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't even really have to do much to accomplish your goals. But as you see in future chapters, when they're completely in line with the Creator, they win without losing anybody, without a doubt. And then they start like mingling some other stuff in there, but still connecting to the Creator. And then the battle is harder, where they lose a bunch of people, but they still win. And then there comes a point where it becomes too mixed, where Yah's like, okay, I'm not helping you anymore. And they tend to lose and go back into captivity. So there is a point to that. How much you're connected to the Creator is how much the Creator accomplishes things for you, because you're in line with him, because you're connected to him. All right, 4.
And Yehovah shall do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og and the sovereigns of the Amorites and their land when he destroyed them.
And of course, we've read about that. While they're crossing through the wilderness, they ran into multiple people, and they accomplished their goal without doing much. All right.
And Yehovah shall give them over to you, and you shall do to them according to all the command which I have commanded you.
Okay.
Be strong and courageous. Do not fear nor be afraid of them, for it is Yehovah your Elohim who is going with you. He does not fail you nor forsake you.
And this is a common thread throughout, do not fear. I think that actually being in a state of fear, not trusting the Creator, actually causes you separation from the Creator. So the Creator does not give us a spirit of fear. All right. 7.
And Moshe called Yehoshua and said to him before the eyes of all Yisrael, Be strong and courageous, for you are going with this people to the land which Jehovah has sworn to their fathers to give them, and you are to let them inherit it.
Okay.
And it is Jehovah who is going before you. He himself is with you. He does not fail you nor forsake you. Do not fear nor be discouraged.
Yep. Anytime that it's repeated like that, it's supposedly, something very important, right? Do not fear, do not
Mm-hmm.
fear. Be courageous.
Where I left my
9.
sign. Okay.
Sorry.
And Moshe wrote this Torah and gave it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who bore the ark of the covenant of Jehovah, and to all the elders of Israel.
Okay, so just to clarify for people who are not familiar, ark literally means container. Covenant literally means contract. And this contract is what is described as the Ten Commandments, which does not exist. It's actually the 10 words of the contract. All right.
Mm-hmm.
10.
And Moshe commanded them, saying, at the end of 7 years, at the appointed time, the year of release, at the festival of Sukkot. Footnote, what is that?
It's just explaining what the word Sukkot means, which is booths, aka tabernacles. In literal terms, it's thickets. This is the mid of the 7th month where we basically camp out for the week. That's like camping week party festival.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, and again, festival means spinning because there's a lot of drinking going on and dancing around, and parties spin and compass. So it's the party of camping.
The party of camping. I like that.
Yep. Yep. That's the generic term. Yep.
Okay. When all Yisrael comes to appear before Yehovah your Elohim in the place which he chooses, read this Torah before all Yisrael in their hearing.
Okay. So basically it's the saying, like 3 times a year, you're to go and assemble together in honor of they're all coordinated with harvest, right? The early harvest and the latter harvest. And so it's actually the early harvest, the end of the early harvest, and then the latter harvest. And then that's when you're supposed to assemble. And this is the third one of the year, Sukkot, the latter harvest. And while you're all together, before this is the last Moed, the appointed time of the year where you're all together, you're going to hear the Torah every 7 years. Okay. So the entirety of the Torah heard every 7 years. If you are, let's say you hear the Torah for the first time when you're 3 years old, you're not going to quite understand it probably, right? When you're 3. However, in 7 years, when you're 10, you're going to have more comprehension and you're going to hear the entirety of the Torah read to you again. So there is no excuse for anybody not knowing what the Torah says in this period of time. All right, 12.
Assemble the people, the men and the women and the little ones, and your sojourner who is within your gates, so that they hear, and so that they learn to fear Yehovah your Elohim, and to guard to do all the words of this Torah.
Okay, and guard is this word that they translate as keep, because it's keep as in a castle keep, something that you use to protect something valuable or something important. Yeah.
And their children who have not known it should hear and learn to fear Yehovah your Elohim as long as you live in the land you are passing over the Yarden to possess.
And again, I don't like the word fear. In all of, thrown back to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another thing that I find very important. Like, growing up in churchianity, the children were not allowed to be privy to all parts of the Bible. They were told stories instead of just reading straight from the scripture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this. And they say, oh, you shouldn't have these discussions with children because whatever. So there is this culture, in America where, children should not be taught certain things, like, let's say, about death, for instance. Don't talk about death with children,
Mm-hmm.
but if you talk to your children about these things early on, they won't have the existential crisis later on in their life when they have
Yeah.
to deal with reality. So I don't filter much with my children. Let's put it that way. All right, 14.
And Jehovah said to Moshe, See, the days have drawn near for you to die. Call Yehoshua and present yourselves in the tent of appointment so that I command him. And Moshe and Yehoshua went and presented themselves in the tent of appointment.
Okay, so tent of appointment is something that you could correlate with Sukkot. Okay, so this is of course what which they translate as tabernacle, right? But it's just tent, right? And of appointment. Well, what's appointment? Appointment is that word moed, right? The appointed times. So like Sukkot, Shavuot, and Matzot, okay, they're all appointed times of the year where you're supposed to assemble, and this is the tent of assembly. So the other assembly of tents would be Sukkot. So there's an interesting correlation between the two. All right, 15.
And Jehovah appeared at the tent in a column of a cloud, and the column of a cloud stood above the door of the tent.
Oh yeah, I also want to make it a point that Jehovah is talking to Moshe and he says, "Okay, you're about to die." Imagine what that's like. Okay,
That's
sorry.
crazy.
All right, 16.
And Jehovah said to Moshe, See, you are about to sleep with your fathers, and this people shall rise and whore after the mighty ones of the strangers of the land into the midst of which they shall enter, and forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them.
Yep, he knew ahead of time that they would fail because people are people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Then my displeasure shall burn against them in that day, and I shall forsake them and hide my face from them, and they shall be consumed. And many evils and distresses shall come upon them, and it shall be said in that day, Is it not because our Elohim is not in the midst that these evils have come upon us?
In other words, when stuff goes bad and they get put into captivity and everything's going wrong, they're like, maybe we're not as connected to the creator as we used to be. All right, 18.
And I shall certainly hide my face in that day because of all the evil which they have done, for they shall turn to other mighty ones.
Okay.
And now write down this song for yourselves, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, so that this song is to me for a witness against the children of Israel.
Okay.
And I shall bring them to the land flowing with milk and honey, of which I swore to their fathers, and they shall eat and be satisfied and be fat. Then they shall turn to the other mighty ones, and they shall serve them and scorn me and break my covenant. And it shall be me, when many evils and distresses come upon them, and it shall be, when many evils
Yeah.
and distresses come upon them, that this song shall answer before them as a witness. For it is not to be forgotten in the mouths of their seed, for I know their thoughts which they are forming today, even before I bring them to the land of which I swore to give them.
Okay, so, because Yah can read the thoughts and hearts and intents of everybody in the group, he's like, oh, this is how it begins. Eventually, they're going to end up mixing things up. They're going to end up worshiping other deities. I can tell by whatever thoughts or intents there are at that moment before they even cross the Yarden. All right, 22.
And Moshe wrote this song the same day and taught it to the children of Israel. And he commanded Yehoshua son of Nun, and said, Be strong and courageous, for you are to bring the children of Israel into the land which I swore to them, and I myself am with you.
Okay.
And it came to be when Moshe had completed writing the words of this Torah in a book until their completion, that Moshe commanded the Levites who bore the ark of the covenant of Jehovah, saying, Take this book of the Torah, and you shall place it beside the ark of the covenant of Jehovah your Elohim, and it shall be there as a witness against you.
Okay, so there is the book of the Torah, and then there's the covenant. They are two different things. Okay, some people think they're the same thing. They're definitely not. You have the 10 words of the contract, that's a scroll, inside of the box. Then you have the Torah, which is another scroll, attached to the outside of the box. That's two different things.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
For I myself know your rebellion and your stiff neck. See, while I am still alive with you today, you have been rebellious against Jehovah, then how much more after my death?
Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, even when Yah is interacting directly with the people, they
Mm-hmm.
still get to points where they're like, "Oh, what are we going to eat? What are we going to drink? What are we doing out here? Why should we listen to Moshe? Maybe we need to build something to worship as Jehovah. All these different things that have proved that people are going to do what they do because, that's human nature. All right.
Assemble unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, so that I speak these words in their hearing, and call the heavens and the earth to witness against them.
Okay.
For I know that after my death you shall do very corruptly, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil shall come to you in the latter days, because you do what is evil in the eyes of Jehovah, to provoke him through the work of your hands.
Okay. And again, for people that don't know, evil means dysfunction. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing in its functionality, what it was created for. All right. 30.
So Moshe spoke in the hearing of all the assembly of Israel in the words of this song till their completion.
All right.
And then it ends.
Yep. Hang on for next week. Cliffhanger.
So the next week it starts with the song.
Yeah, it's what the song's related to in the next few verses. But I mean, it's already started here because it's saying, you know, Yah has promised you the land of milk and honey, but you're going to do evils and follow other deities, but then you can come back to Yah, is basically the premise of the song, right? So he's telling them ahead of time, this is your promise. This is how you're going to screw it up. Don't screw it up. What people don't realize is when they like look at the prophets, and a lot of people will take the prophets' words and they'll be like, "Oh, he's talking about America in 2024." No, these are prophets that are literally dealing with them being taken into captivity, and they're not fortune tellers as some would like try to understand prophets to be. Prophets would be those who only speak the words of Yah. However, it would be like, if you return to me and keep my commandments, then you're going to come back and you're going to be blessed. All these promises that I gave you in the past are going to come back to you. If you don't, then you're going to have to deal with this thing and that thing and the other thing. And what happened was all those bad things happen, and they're like, "Oh, prophets are the ones who are just, the doomsayers that are saying what's bad that's going to happen to them." But in reality, they're setting before them life and death. Choose life, right? This is what we heard about in the last verse. I set before you life and death. Choose life. And that's a very big problem when you have a group of people that are like, fighting for power or trying to be the special boy, and it causes dissension. And then they start, hearing about these other deities that are supposed to promise them wealth, power, whatever the case may be. And they turn their back on the creator, even for, a short period or whatever. But then it never ends there. So it always ends up bad enough to where they get separated from the creator. So, I mean, it's the entirety of the Torah you could consider um a song, a story of, the cause and effect relationship of being created or connected to the creator. All right. So there is in chat Baruch Blues, Aisling 717, what's up, Cammy? JB Rants, Dan the Waterman, Bill Wool. Oh wait. Bill Wheel. Ha! I remembered.
Bill
Ha ha.
Wheel, yeah.
He taught me how to pronounce it a long time ago, and I forgot. And I was like, "Oh
I
yeah, Bill
know.
Wheel."
He reminded me the other day, too. Now, yeah.
All right, Joseph Osborne, Rico, Jay, do Valley Parks.
Rico's tinfoil sombrero. Did you say that
Yeah,
already?
Rico and Rico. Yeah, I said Rico. Isabel alive.
Valley Parks, good to see you. Isabella Live 2.0, Cammy.
Mr. Miyagi. All right. Now I'll see if there's any.
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, me. I think it's still supposed to be Miyagi. I think he's just
I
playing
know.
on words there. Miyagi. Okay, Rico's saying that I guess he's gonna have a stream today. Not exactly sure what it's about, but
With Alex Michael.
oh, Alex Conspiracy Music Guru. Okay, yeah,
Mm.
cool. Hopefully, they can rein in the chit chat, let them talk. I know from experience that's hard to do with so many people. Sin is syntax error. That's pretty good. I like that actually. Oh, they said they show their age by that joke. I guess that is an uncommon thing these days.
Mm.
Syntax error is not something we have to deal with it anymore
That's
as
funny.
much.
That's funny. Thank you, Isabella Live 2.0, for the super chat. Super
We
chats
don't
are
memorize the Torah.
super
Yeah,
chats are working.
appreciate that, Isabella Life. Yeah, it is that we don't, memorize the Torah. But if it was read to us every 7 years, we'd at least have a concept of it, and that's not taught at all in churchianity.
You would at least
That
know the
it's
basics.
Yeah, exactly. You at least understand the concept, right? Well, even the concept of the Torah is not taught in churchianity. It's basically like live how you want,
It's
believe that
actually
Jesus exists.
it's
Go ahead.
it's pretty easy. It's pretty most of it's pretty common sense stuff.
Yes. And in fact, hold on, let me go back. I want to quote the scripture appropriately here. Um,
A lot of it is stuff you
do
probably wouldn't want to do anyway. Just
right,
saying.
right. Okay. It is not in the heavens to say, oh, let me start with 11 of last chapter. For this command which I'm commanding you today is not too hard for you, nor is it far off. It's not in the heavens to say, who shall ascend to the heavens and bring it to us and cause us to hear it so that we do it. Nor is it beyond the sea to say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it to us and cause us to hear so that we hear it. For the word is very near you and in your mouth and in your heart to do it. See, I've set before you today life and good, death and evil, that I am commanding you today to love Jehovah your Elohim, to walk in his ways, to guard his commandment, his laws, his right rulings, and you shall live in and increase. And Jehovah your Elohim shall bless you in the land which you go to possess. Okay, there you go. So it's not hard. It's not impossible for you to reach. And, this is not a just Old Testament statement. I believe it was in the book of James where it says that the commands are not grievous. They're not hard to do. They're not hard to accomplish. So, yeah, it's not that hard. It's just thrown out because, they got this new religion that they got to keep going. Which again, that new religion is what changed the calendar so that we don't understand time. Obviously, the new year has not begun. It's still, it's going towards the new year.
Hmm.
It's going to get warming up, and then stuff's going to come back awake and, start to grow, and that's the new year. So the calendar's messed up, and understanding that there is a direct connection to the creator rather than going through a middleman. Oh, I got to listen to my pastor. People who say that they don't, oh, I'm not a Catholic, I'm a Christian, so we don't believe there's a man between me and God. Then how come you'll listen to the pastor's explanation of the scripture rather than you just reading the scripture for yourself and applying it, right? Why do you need this man to teach you what the scripture says and say, well, even though it says this, what it really means is, and it's something completely different, right? That is putting that man above you. That's putting him between you and the creator. You're feeding him your spiritual energy, where he's now the responsibility. Oh, what, like, let's say, for instance, tithe. Tithe, you're supposed to hold apart a 10% of your increase. And then when you interact with widows, orphans, those in need, then you have that money available. But no, you just send it to your church and say, oh, whatever they do, I did my job. I give it to the church. That is not your job. Your job is to take care of that income and use it correctly as prompted, so it, there is, this whole thing of separating men from the creator, where if you read the Torah, it says don't ever do that, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's just like, people probably thought that the priests were like supposed to be the middlemen in the Torah, but if you read it, they're only there to present the offerings to Jehovah. That's it. Not the tithe. The tithe you're supposed to bring with you to these Moedim and use it as needed. Yeah. So, all right. Modern Christianity is Nimrod worship disguised as scriptural. Yep. I love the Old Testament survey and developing, and love for what is right and understanding. The creator is old school and new school. Do not test Jehovah your Elohim. He is forgiving to a point. Then there is no escape. Yep. I agree. They speak what Rob Skiba called Christianese. Yeah, I used to say that back in the day too, Christianese, because even when I was a Christian, I would go up and use the token sayings of Christianity to lay people who don't go to church, and they would look at me cockeyed because they didn't understand this lingo I was using, these catchphrases that I learned in church. So they have a whole another language. They manipulate things to fit their philosophy, basically. um yeah, it's better to give to the church than to the elderly. Yeah, that was Yeshua's point. In Well, whatever, we're not going to talk about the New Testament too much. That's not what this show is based on. But yeah, basically, Yeshua was not creating a new set of rules. He was saying how they were trying to twist the rules of the Torah to benefit the religious orders of his day. If you don't know what I'm saying, then you'll have to do a little research. It's not very hard. I mean, reading it in the English King James Version, or let's say the NIV or NASB, whatever, if you read Yeshua's words and actually listen to them and not try to overwrite his words with theology, you'll see there's a very different point there. Very different. Beautiful sunny day in Michigan. Thank you, Just Jack and Caribbean, for opening your minds to what the Torah actually says. Bill Wall says, looking forward to the 50s today. It's actually warmer for us here in South Carolina. It's crazy, these fluctuations. It's not a spinning ball in space, vacuum with curved water. I know that. Hashtag fact. Yeah, no doubt. It's measured, navigated, built upon. It's definitely flat. Yeah. There's a reason we use water levels. Trying to read through chat to see if there's any more quotes or questions. Isabel Alive says, if you sing it, you'll never forget it. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's about it. Oh, Isabel Alive is chatting a bunch in the end there.
Hey, Zach.
NLT or KJV and red letter will show the completion of the Old Testament in the words of the Son. Yes. Yep. Yeshua. Hey, Zach. Good times for all. Yeshua wasn't radical according to the Torah. Them changing Torah was blasphemous. Yep. 30 here today, 50 tomorrow, flat every day. Oh, we're talking about temperature. That threw me off. I was thinking years old. 30 years old today, 50 tomorrow. What? Shout out to Vincent, who just popped into chat. Alrighty.
All
That
right.
about wraps it up, unless there's any more chats elsewhere.
No, I was checking the other chats. There's nobody chatting in the other platforms. So I guess that is it.
Yeah, and just FYI, it is the 12th month, so this is the month that I will be searching for signs of spring. If the signs of spring do appear this month, that the spring harvest will be ready by next month, then that will begin the new year with a renewed moon. So there you go.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Anti-Religious Scripture Study, and we hope you have a restful day, and we'll see you again next week.
Next time.
Next
Shabbat
time.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
The earth is flat.
That's right.